Good morning. My name is Sean Tagge, the Chief Operating Officer here at Memphis Investment Properties.
How's it going? Good morning, everybody. It's Scott King, General Property Manager of Reedy and Company Realtors, right there, Reedy and Company.
Yes. So we are live today. We're going to be talking about property management and the fees associated with general property management companies, and we'll dive in a little bit on our company. And so what a lot of people getting into real estate, one of their big barriers and fears is, well, man, I don't know how to manage a tenant. How do I screen them? Background check? Is there even a software on that? And it seems to actually sometimes just be like, then they stop right there. Like, well, I guess I just won't do real estate. I can't do it. How do we help people out in that sense?
I mean, I think that's, we get a lot of calls and we get a lot of questions on what our fees are for, and, specifically into, applications and processing and figuring out how you're going to place tenants and things like that. Those are all kind of headaches and pain points that you want to hire a property management company to do. We're going to be able to better vet a potential tenant for a property than, somebody who's 1,000 miles away or even 100 miles away from their investment.
Yeah, like that'll be their first time they're ever screening someone probably, and then we've screened 10,000 people.
Right.
So I think we probably have better odds of knowing how that applicant's going to turn out than someone doing it the first time.
Yep, correct. Yeah. So the way that the fee structure works out, and it's pretty similar amongst different companies. So, I mean, you could probably call 10 companies in your area, and you're probably going to get not much of a variance in what these companies are
and we
charging.
stay pretty competitive to what the market is, and right on par with like what the average is at least.
Sure, yeah, we're not wanting to try to do anything differently than anybody else. Right. And a lot of instances, and something to maybe just watch out for as a red flag is if you call several companies and one company is just way under another company, that may be a little bit of a red flag. I would wonder why they're charging less than maybe a competitor. Sometimes people are discounting their fees in order to try to gain business because they can't get it, by just charging the normal market.
Because maybe they're bad or maybe they're new and they don't know yet that.
Just something to kind of watch out for. Yeah.
Okay.
So in one of the kind of the first, fees that you'll hear a property or a PM or property manager talk about is their just monthly management fee. And their monthly management fee is typically going to range. It's going to be a certain percentage of whatever the monthly rent is. There are some companies out there that will charge per month no matter what, no matter if the home is vacant or occupied. We don't personally run like that. We feel it's a little bit better to, if the property is vacant and we're still getting paid for it, there's not a huge incentive there. Yeah,
we're aligning the interest of the manager with the client, right? If you don't make money on rent, we're not going to make money either.
Right. We talk a lot about partnerships and how this relationship is a partnership. And that's one way that we try to align those interests.
Yeah. So of collected rent we'll charge, it's typically 8 to 10%. And that's pretty much the industry standard in Memphis, at least.
Correct. Depending on the size of the portfolio and things like that.
If you get larger, depending.
Yeah, but typically an 8 to 10% management fee on the portfolio, going to be very, very standard. Another industry fee is going to be a leasing fee. So that is going to be a fee that is charged when the property manager finds a suitable tenant to be placed in the house. Those really range. I've seen companies charge as much as a full month's rent, as little as, I guess, no leasing fee. That's pretty uncommon. But so that fee will range depending on the company that you're with. And so what that fee covers is that fee is going to cover the efforts of the property manager to find a suitable tenant for the house.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are like, what? That's so much. But it is a lot of work. That's actually probably the most key and crucial part, is getting a tenant in. Background check, credit check, 3 times a month around. We have a whole video on that, but it's a lot of work that goes into it, taking all the calls, showing it, making sure it stays clean during that showing phase, all that stuff involved.
And we have about a 45-day average vacancy time. That's from the time it becomes vacant to the time we find a new tenant. There's a lot of things that go into that along the way. Typically, a new tenant is found within about 2 to 3 weeks, but they have to put in a notice where they are. They have to give, move, all that stuff.
Figure their life out.
So it's on average about 45 days. Well, in that first, 3 weeks when we're trying to get it rented, exactly what you were saying, we have to take the phone calls. We have the software that supports all the marketing efforts on the house. Sometimes we do different, unique, maybe a radio ad or a television ad or an ad in one of the local newspapers, something like that. So there's a lot of steps that go into, into the leasing process, and that's why that fee is charged.
Right. Yep. And a lot of people always wonder, I go, what are your fees? What is everything? Why? And so kind of understanding why on that sense. What other things pop up that owners would want to be aware of?
So, and a lot of people ask, are there any upfront charges to joining with Reedy and Company? We do not have any upfront charges. We do have what's called a maintenance contingency. The maintenance contingency is basically just a maintenance security deposit. That's going to range in price anywhere, usually around maybe $250 to $500 per home. And that's normally capped out at a certain number of houses. And basically that money is just escrowed every month. It rolls over. It's there to ensure that, hey, if we've got an emergency on the house or if there's something that needs to be done, we have funds in the bank to make sure that we can do those repairs. That amount is refundable back to our owners at the end of their agreement with us. So that is really the only upfront charge. I have heard of other companies charging what's called like a portfolio setup fee. I'm not sure, how that works for other companies, but we don't charge that.
That's not us. In our
yeah,
industry.
Typically, I think that's, it's just a way to kind of make a little bit more fee generation for them.
Yeah,
But
put some skin in the game with the owner. I mean, every company has their own strategy.
one of the other fees that I get asked about a lot is a lease renewal fee.
Right.
Now, there are a lot of different mindsets on this. The most common, we do charge a lease renewal fee here at Reedy and Company. And it's a flat rate, very fair amount. And one of the questions that I get asked from investors a lot is, you charge a lease renewal fee and you just get a piece of paper signed. We actually have a video about lease renewals and how important they are. So go check that out. I'm not going to spend a ton of time explaining the lease renewal fee, but it's basically, we start notifications with tenant 90 days out. We're evaluating the market rent. We're contacting them via text, email. We're using software. We're sending people by the home. There's all this stuff that goes into that lease renewal.
Negotiating their lease, and, increasing their rent, and everything like that.
So it's not just as simple as, getting a piece of paper signed and then tacking on a little fee to your account. So something that's really, really important, and it helps with the, long-term stability of the home, to renew that tenant and get them in another year, a third year, or fourth year, super important for you as an investor.
Right. So I think a property management really helps a lot of owners, people who want to get into real estate, get over that barrier of entry, get over that fear of, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. Well, good. You don't need to, you be the CEO of your business, your portfolio, your investment portfolio, but let us be your COOs, your chief operating officers. Let us run the day-to-day management of your assets, of your real estate here in Memphis, and that's what we're here for. Any company needs help from others, and we have the experience and the know-how and years of learning, right, from our own portfolios that we own. We each own a dozen units plus, and the owners of the company, the Reedy family, owns hundreds of units. So we treat every property as if it were our own, because a large portion of what we manage is our own property. So that just aligns the interest even more, and we know what it's like being in the industry.
That's right. Yeah. So we want your focus to be on growth.
Right.
The growth of your portfolio. 95% of our investors, and we now have close to 720 investors working with us on a daily basis. They're not involved in real estate full time.
Right.
They're CPAs or they're scientists or they're doctors.
Yeah.
I mean, all different walks of life. And so, their focus doesn't need to be on, the day-to-day operations of their PM.
Absolutely.
So those fees that are charged by us or by other property managers are usually well-deserved.
Yes. So. All right. Thanks, everyone. That's our video. Please like our Facebook pages. Go check out our YouTube channels. Give us a shout out. You can check out our websites. The names and then .net on each one. And appreciate it.
Yeah, please let us know if you have any questions. We really, really love questions from you guys. That really helps us kind of generate content for these videos. We certainly have 1,000 subjects we can get on here and talk about, but we really want to hear from you. So just let us know.
Yeah. Amy Foster.
Thanks for the love.
Thank you for the love. Yes. Happy Memorial Day, everyone.